Well, a group of Nehawu members are protesting outside the Nasrec Convention Centre this morning, and they say this is to raise awareness about the unfair treatment of workers. They say the health department is failing them. Newzroom Afrika's Mohlaoli is there for us to give us some clarity on exactly what this protest is about. Tumaole, we know that in the build-up to the policy conference, which should be kicking off at 9 o'clock, so if it stays with schedule, that's how things should unfold. But Nehawu has promised to protest on the sidelines of this conference, actually to support employees from the ANC who haven't been paid. Or is this protest wider than that?
Well, the process is wider than that, Michelle. They say that, of course, they're bringing their grievances as the Nursing Union and National Health and Allied Workers Union to the doorstep of the conference of the ANC, because they feel that as a ruling party, they should get their message across that government is failing them, particularly the health department when it comes to the issue of the treatment of young nurses and, of course, the overall working conditions, including, of course, the late payments of salaries and the wage discrepancies. But let's hear from the General Secretary of Nehawu, Zola Sapeta. Mr. Sapeta, thank you for speaking to us in Newzroom Afrika. Why was it important to bring your members here, and how many are out here?
Firstly, we must also explain that members who are working at the ANC are here, and they are communicating their message to their employer. Remember, these are the workers who have brought this policy conference together, who have kept the ANC going, and we are here to say that pay our members what is due to them. But also we are joined by workers who are members of Nehawu from SARS. As you know that SARS workers are the contributors in terms of the economic recovery, as they've through tax collection brought to about 25% increase from their history. But also those who are producing throughput that occupies a strategic position in the political economy. Workers from UNISA, they are here. So those are the workers that were brought here. Remember that the ANC is an employer to these workers, but at the same time, ANC is a governing party. So we're saying that we can't just ignore these workers. We have to pay attention as a ruling party, but also as a direct employer in terms of ANC workers.
And in terms of the policy conference itself, what are you hoping in terms of policies will bring change and ensure that workers get a fair deal?
We're expecting policies that are pro-working class, pro-workers, because workers are contributors to the economy and the social development of this country. But currently we are really paying less attention to those discussions inside. We are more about what is due to workers, and they must be given. And we will not rest until ANC pays attention to those demands that workers are putting on the table.
All right. And in terms of the workers themselves, what do you think can be done? Because we know that the economy is struggling. The impacts of COVID-19 are still wreaking havoc in terms of general functioning of the economy and the loss of jobs with the unemployment rate where it is. What do you think the policies should speak to try and turn this around with all these difficulties?
The major focus of the policy is to change the current macroeconomic policy structure and its purpose. It must be a structure that generates and ensure growth in terms of the economy. Currently is not, but also is an economy that really must take into account of the socio-economic realities of society, and also places at the center the social development as opposed to austerity measures that really cut but also serve the interests of capital.
All right. Do you think that the message will be heard loudly and clearly from the outside? Wouldn't it be wiser to try and get delegates on the inside to try and lobby on your behalf?
Certainly it ought to. Remember, COSATU has a delegation that will be participating inside. We have spoken to the leadership of COSATU, and part of the delegation of COSATU, they are leaders of Nehawu. They will rise from the floor. We have also engaged the Communist Party, and hopefully that the Communist Party also will rise from the floor before the proceedings of the program to raise the point that workers are outside, they can't be ignored, while we are outside making noise. So we are certain that there will be something that ought to be done, and hopefully that the ANC will have a delegation to meet with us so that we can discuss all these issues.
Right, Mr. Sapeta, thank you very much. That was, of course, Zola Sapeta, the General Secretary of Nehawu, outlining why Nehawu members are picketing outside here. And if I could just walk across to give you an indication, they have taken to the streets just outside the Nasrec Convention Centre, and some of their placards read, "We demand 9% salary increase." These are some of the issues that Nehawu is putting forward, hoping to be heard, as of course they hope that ANC delegates will be driving past as they prepare to go inside for that policy conference, the National Policy Conference. So this is the situation here. They're certainly making their voices heard, and they say that they will continue until the policy conference wraps up. And they hope, of course, that their representatives, as Mr. Sapeta, the General Secretary, just mentioned, will take this to the policy conference, the deliberations there in the commissions, and hoping that there will be a favorable outcome for the workers. With that, it's back to you in the studio.
Tumaole Mohlaoli on the sidelines there of the Nasrec, the 6th policy conference of the ANC taking place at Nasrec. Now protest action continuing there.